Hey everybody, Chris here. What is the next move for Dogecoin and Bitcoin? We're going to talk about that in this video. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel, hit that little notification bell too. You can be notified when new videos come out as well as when I do live streams. And we know the overall crypto market does move along with Bitcoin for most of the time. Dogecoin follows along, can outperform Bitcoin on the green days, but drops lower on the red days. In 2025, we had more red days than green, so Bitcoin ended up percentage-wise lower than Bitcoin for the year. To start 2026, we're kind of in this mode where we might have this relief rally. There's many believing super cycle or extended cycle, and prices of everything are going to go higher, but there's a lot of bears out there as well. So let's get into it. Let me show you all the charts that I'm looking at, as well as the news. We'll get into it now. And we start here looking at the current Dogecoin chart at 13.76 cents. That's right, we are back in the brown box, still hanging out. We were trying on Thursday to stay above it, trying to see if this was just a dip, just slightly below 14, 13.9, 13.95, right in that zone. But then on Friday morning, we had weakness in the market, a pullback, and then down to about 13.5. So 13.5 was that local bottom. Wasn't able to yet reclaim 14 cents. Bitcoin just over 95,000. Bitcoin had that dip as well. It came all the way down to 94.2. There's still a lot of people out there thinking that CME gap down at 88.2 still needs to be filled. That was from the beginning of the year. So if there is more weakness and more selling going on, we could be even lower on Bitcoin. We'll start with the news on Dogecoin. Again, Dogecoin drops 4%. Trader sell rallies. Support gives way. Traders are cautious with meme tokens. Well, we know Dogecoin is not a meme token, right? It's a coin. I keep trying to spread that word again. It's not the same thing, but these guys should know better at CoinDesk. But, you know, they just post this stuff and just whatever. Favoring assets with clearer institutional signals, the whole market is down. Like there's not much difference going on here. So I mean, Bitcoin's in the red just like Dogecoin. I was doing the same thing, and they go and they say like favoring assets with clearer institutional, the whole market. Yeah, there's a couple things that are going like Dash and Monero and some other things, right? But that happens. Dogecoin fell. Sellers broke through the 14-cent level with increased volume. And that's interesting, right? We see the volume here. The volume seems to tick up on Doge only when there's pullbacks, right? We get the big volume on a pullback. And now, as we're into the weekend here, look at the volume. There's no volume. So we're just going to drift sideways, at least probably until Sunday night. Because that's what's going on, right? Heavy selling pressure suggests rallies will likely be seen as selling opportunities until Dogecoin reclaims 14.2. And again, on my chart, I need to get up to 15.4, which I'll show you on the cup and handle graphs in just a little bit. But the drop comes as risk appetite across meme coins cools after an uneven start to the year. Traders increasingly quick to sell rallies in the absence of fresh catalysts. And that is what Dogecoin can do, right? Dogecoin, we've seen, can go on big runs when it has its own catalyst, its own specific big news. X-Money, Tesla, Elon stuff. You know, the ETFs were kind of lackluster. Doge OS launching soon. Is that going to have a big effect? I don't know. But while the broader crypto markets held relatively steady, Dogecoin underperformed as liquidity thinned and positioning skewed defensive. So that's what we have overall, right? The move also followed renewed discussion in crypto media around bullish chart patterns, longer-term Doge charts, which I'll show in just a minute, including inverse head and shoulder setups and cups and handles and all of that stuff. But in the near term, those narratives failed to translate into sustained demand, leaving price action exposed once key technical levels gave way. So that's where we are right now, just kind of waiting. For now, Dogecoin is trading like a market in active distribution, not quiet consolidation, And that distinction matters as long as volume continues to confirm downside pressure. So, a little bearish at the moment, but that could be just be through the weekend, and next week we could see a move up. Right now, the Fear and Greed Index, it's at 50. It's neutral. It is straight up 50-50. Not even the market sentiment analysis knows which way the crypto market's going to go. We're just stuck right in the middle. Now, if we zoom out and we look at the big picture, Cryptolica is looking at the overall RSI on the dips through 4-year cycles. Looking at this 33 level, this is the 33 level is this red line here. We hit it once back in 2014 or 2015. We hit it again in 2020. That was the COVID crash there. And then in 2022, when Dogecoin dipped down to 4.95 cents, that was the lowest all-time RSI, was then. Kind of interesting. It was coming off the big run up to 73 cents in 2021. So that RSI, that relative strength index, was really, really weak there. Now here we are, beginning of 2026. This was actually the end of 2025, the big sell-off of tax loss harvesting at the end of the year and all that. And the RSI didn't quite hit 33 yet. It didn't really hit it yet. So although Cryptolica is saying, look, this is the 4th time and we're going to go higher from here, I still think there could be more weakness ahead. And I know that's not what you guys want to hear, right? You want to hear all the bull scenarios, but I try and keep it real, and I do comment on these charts, and this could be still a little bullish. We could still have a relief rally, though. I'll get to that in a minute as well. Overall, Dogecoin, I know these guys, they put these, could the next move be to 70 cents, right? Could that be near? And it's just like, no, it's a quiet phase right now. It's a quiet phase. Doge has been around a long time. People think they know how it moves. Big runs, sudden spikes, and then long, boring pauses. And that is what's happening. They say this pause feels a little different. I don't know. The broader market is uneven. Some coins are trying to move. Again, we talked about the privacy coins now. You know, other ones do have little runs here and there. Just some come from out of the blue. Usually those big runs end up having big retracements. Doge slightly down today, moving with the market, not falling the way it usually does on weekdays. There is selling, but it's slow. No panic, no rush to the exit. The price is just drifting. That's what we have right now. It's just drifting. So this is Trader Allen's latest chart here, this double bottom, showing the same RSI level as the first bottom. Now, we've looked at these before, and this was supposed to be the handle, right, of a bigger cup and handle that we had, but it didn't get back up to 15.4, which would have closed out the handle, so it failed. And if this is truly a double bottom and it does come back up to 15.2 at least, then we would have that fulfilled. But these things hardly ever play out like you think. They just don't do that. So we'll be watching that. And then make or break zone, and I don't think it's really the same. I mean, this was the big cup, but the handle didn't fulfill here. So now looking at this pullback again, is that going to lead to another move back up to make that a true sort of double bottom scenario? We will be watching that. Trader Allen also did another one on the stochastic RSI showing how that is oversold again as well. We're not quite there on the gold line. We haven't had that crossover yet, so that could be coming. We'll be watching that as well. Overall, if we go to Bitcoin, conditions for a sustained rally, potential bullish momentum shift. The blue fair value gap has been filled. Bitcoin was trying to move up into this red fair value gap. Right now, it is lagging and is right in between. So if the blue holds, weekly close above 92.8, we can reclaim that fair value gap. We'll be watching that for Sunday, seeing how that moves. But weakness in the market, and especially a pullback to the CME gap at 88.2 could be in play. Overall, BTC. There's a lot of positivity and optimism in the charts, looking at this cup and handle, but this is all skewed. Cup and handle is like kind of ridiculous, right? To call that a cup when it's just so much higher, and this isn't even a handle yet. It's just like, it's just almost coming to an overbought condition here, and then we've been moving down in this channel for the past week. So not really a cup and handle piece. That's not that. So I disagree with that one. Here's another one, liquidity sweep done. Yes, we did have, over the past 24 hours, we had another $146 million taken out of the leverage trading, and 74% of that was on the long side, over $100 million long. So that's what this green means here on the liquidation heat map here, is that means more leverage trades taken out long rather than short. So was that all just a liquidity sweep? That remains to be seen. But if we are in this consolidation phase here, and the next would be expansion coming back up, that would be a good sign. But I don't know. We all know the cycles of markets, downtrend, consolidation, and expansion. But is the downtrend really finished yet? That's what we will be looking at as well. This would be the Wyckoff market cycle. So Bitcoin census, yeah, sometimes he's really positive and sometimes he's really negative. This chart, more negative, looking at the Wyckoff, accumulation, markup, distribution, and markdown, that part of the Wyckoff cycle. And that could be, right, from July to October before the big flash crash, that was the distribution and was Bitcoin's all-time high, 126,200. That happened right before the flash crash. And so we would see, again, a relief rally, and then we would see a markdown. Now, how low that goes depends on a lot of the news in the economy, what's going on. If gold and silver keep going up, if the stock market has a pullback, because it hasn't yet, the stock market continues to kind of grind upwards. That's how the stock market's moving. This could end up being worse. Anything can happen, not financial advice. And my view of this, look, and follow me on X at ChrisPax. That's where I am when I'm not here on YouTube. I'm over there usually. And now this is what I posted this morning. And this is my view of the 4-year cycle. I'm looking at how we had two rejections to the 50-week moving average back in 2020, 2021, before going to its all-time high. Was 69K. We then pulled back. We pulled back, and on the RSI, these purple circles here, right? We had the dip followed by a retest of the 50-week moving average, and then falling lower. That would be a typical bear market pullback, and that takes about a year to play out. And the RSI followed as well. So as we moved into the bull market with Bitcoin through 2023, 2024, we then had some pullbacks and the rejection of the 50-week moving average happened. Bitcoin goes up, hits a new all-time high, again, early October 2025, very similar to November 2021, right? Again, not a huge euphoria, huge run like was 2017 blow off top. That didn't happen here either. But then we have the pullback to a dip. And again, that's reflected on the RSI. Then the RSI moves up, right? We start to move up. Are we going to have that retest? Is that going to play out like it did in 2022? Retest the 50-week moving average. That's the relief rally that I've been talking about. That would be followed by a pullback. And we would have a pullback on the RSI as well, where the RSI would then dip back below 30. Because that's what happened in 2022. Now, that's the 4-year cycle theory around Bitcoin. We know alts didn't follow this pattern. Again, this was the Bitcoin 4-year cycle. Alts, well, particularly with Dogecoin front runs the Bitcoin pattern. Because we had May 2021 when Dogecoin hit its all-time high. And then we had December 2024 where Dogecoin hit its cycle high, front running the Bitcoin all-time highs for the last 4-year cycles. So that is what this chart represents. This is still my thesis until I'm proven wrong. If we have a Bitcoin run over the 50-week moving average and we get up to 110, 115K, then that changes. But until that changes, I'm still overall bearish. We might have little runs, though. A relief rally's in play. And as soon as this starts getting up to 100K, you're going to see everyone on crypto Twitter saying, super cycle, extended cycle. But the same thing played out again in 2022. We retested the 50-week moving average and then moved lower. So I'm sticking with that thesis for now. Overall for Dogecoin, that's that next move, right? We'll be watching that. In the short term, again, we're trying to see how this plays out. We thought we had a little double bottom pattern happening here at the end of last week, but Dogecoin drifted lower. So early this week, we started to have a run up, did not make 15.4, had a little double top, and then got rejected down. So it's kind of a weakness in the market at the moment. So we'll be watching this going forward. Let me know what you think about Dogecoin's next move. What do you think it's going to be? Give the video a like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate the support. We'll see you next time.